I was sent this very colorful pitch document, first of all. I had worked with one of the people who's involved in it before. The character that I play, Tani Maria, is Scottish. I'm Irish, obviously, from my big barking Irish accent. Um, but I had worked with her before, and she knew that I could do that. And so she sent it to me, and I just thought it was so lovely. It was so colorful, um, and so immediately I responded to it, and I asked to read the scripts, and then I read all 10 of them, and I just kept turning the pages. I was really compelled by it. It was so different from everything else I was reading at the time. Um, I just felt that it would be a joyful thing to be part of, and I really wanted to do that. I was so tired of reading about serial killers and the many and graphic and awful ways that they dispose of women. And this was a sort of, I mean, there's a murder, there is a murder to solve, but it was very much a story about community and very, very tender. And so it just stood out a mile from everything else I was reading. And the fact that I read them all and kept wanting to turn the page and wanted more, um, yeah, it just seemed like a really good thing to be involved in and a huge personal challenge as well. I'd never been to South Africa before. I was going to be the only the only blow in there. Everybody else was South African. So I knew it would be, yeah, a big challenge and a big learning. And it was. Oh, I don't know, but I'm really, really tired of it. I think now more than ever, after the couple of years that we've all been through, I think that people really are desperate to find hope and comfort and actually see the possibility of human connection. I think it's always been incredibly important to me, but I think um, there is an appetite for it now. And I think sometimes people make those other shows in a just kind of a, oh, well, that other one was successful, so let's try another bit of that. I think very often uh, television creators underestimate their audience. I think that's changing now with the introduction of, more and more shows have the option to watch it in the original language with subtitles. Not everything is dubbed or transferred that way. I think that I think that people are really smart and don't just want to be fed torture or bleak portrayals of things. And yeah, well, I hope it's changing. Our show is certainly not that. It's warm and I think it's very loving and also, of course, it has something that will attract you, that you're a mystery that you're going to want to solve, like a puzzle to solve. In the way I loved those things myself, when especially as a teenager, I really wanted to just curl up and watch, Miss Marple all day long. But also then it has this beautiful South African landscape and something that I had never seen before, that was new and so colorful and idiosyncratic. And then, of course, we have food. So yeah, if you're gonna watch the show, make sure you have snacks. You'll be really hungry. I do like to cook, but I have to say, for a lot of I have a very busy home. I have four children, and a lot of the time I found it more of a, oh God, I've got to feed these, this just people with hollow legs, in the evening after, uh, I've been working or my husband has been working, and you still go, oh, did anybody? I wasn't so good at routine when I was younger, so I'd suddenly go, oh wow, it's 5 o'clock again, and I forgot to go shopping or something. But it is one of the things that my family did expect, that they would reap the rewards of this show in really incredible meals. But in truth, I just I worked so much I barely boiled an egg in the 3 months I was there. And yeah, I mostly just said, could we please go out to eat on my day off? Um, but I guess I'll get around to making some of those recipes for them now. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Even to fake make them was fun. Well, I would always read it. I think it's important to understand what the source is. I mean, I think the TV show and the novel are sort of cousins rather than being rather than being a direct adaptation. Like in the book, for example, my character is not Scottish. That was a whole new feature to sort of open the show out a little bit, make it less make it entirely local, but be able to see it through somebody else's perspective, somebody who doesn't take everything for granted, who doesn't assume that everybody understands all of this countryside and language and the way people interact, because they're coming at it with a different perspective. So I thought that was a really interesting new addition to the show. But I read the scripts first because that's what I was going to be making. But then I went back and read the book because I just wanted to see where they'd come from. And even though I knew what the differences were between the stories, I wanted to find what the similarities were. And I did. There's a really strong, her voice, Tani Maria's voice is really strong in the books. And that we carry that over to the series. She's got a very particular uh, worldview. You know, she'll decide things about you based on what you have in your shopping basket. That's one of her big things. Just like, and I do find myself doing that now. If I'm like at the supermarket or something, I would be kind of going, "What is your particular basket of shame in there?" Which is probably not a good personal habit to have picked up. But yeah, she makes her. She's really, really keen observer of people's habits and behavior, and she makes decisions in a very eccentric way. You know, she constantly has to lick things and smell them in the way of, you know, somebody who's really involved with cooking would. Like food is a language for her. It's not just a it's not just a function. It's an actual language. It's the way she communicates. And I personally believe it's really important to break bread with people, to gather, to make food together. It's a very practical thing that is bonding, but doesn't involve really intense, you know, eyeball connection or deep philosophical conversations. But it's still time that you spend with somebody that's important and that's tangible and in which you have a result, which you make something. Um, and she saw my character becomes an agony aunt to the paper because her recipe column is going to be axed because they don't need recipes anymore. They need someone to be solve the problems. But her way of solving the problems again is completely through food. Through she will have a recipe for you that will allow you to seduce somebody, or that will help you to repair a friendship, or maybe calm you down if you're worried or need some clarity in your thought. So the way she approaches the world is just so particular and so unique, and I think I assimilated some of it. And yeah, I love her. I love her.